The fourth requirement is to adjust the physical assembly with work. Journalist: what do you mean, Mr. Tesla? Tesla: first, the maintenance of the assembly. Man's body is a perfect machine. I know my circuit and what's good for him. Food, what nearly all people eat, to me is harmful and dangerous. Sometimes I visualize that chefs in the world are all in conspiracy against me. Touch my hand. Journalist: it was cold. Tesla: yes. Bloodstream can be controlled, and many processes in and around us. Why are you frightened, young man? Journalist: it's a story that Mark Twain wrote, A Mysterious Stranger, that wonderful book of Satan, inspired by you. Tesla: the word Lucifer is more charming. Mr. Twain likes a joke. As a child, I was healed once by reading his books. When we met here and I told him about, he was so touched that he cried. We became friends and often came to my lab. Once he requested to show him a machine that vibration provokes a feeling of bliss. It was one of those inventions for entertainment. What I sometimes like to do. I warned Mr. Twain as not to remain under these vibrations. He did not listen and stayed longer. It ended up by being like a rocket holding his pants darted into a certain room. It was diabolically funny, but I kept the seriousness. But to adjust the physical circuit in addition to food, dream is very important. From a long and exhausting work, which required superhuman effort, after 1 hour of sleep, I'd be fully recovered. I gained the ability to fall asleep and wake up in the time which I have designated. If I do something what I do not understand, I force myself to think about it in my dream, and thus find a solution. The fifth condition of adjustment is memory. Perhaps in the most people, the brain is keeper of knowledge about the world and the knowledge gained through the life. My brain is engaged in more important things than remembering. It is picking what is required at the given moment. This is all around us. It should only be consumed. Everything we once saw, hear, read, and learned accompanies us in the form of light particles. To me, these particles are the obedient and faithful. Godus Faust, my favorite book. I learned in my heart in German as a student, and now it can all recite. I held my inventions for years in my head, and only then I realized them. Journalist: you often mention the power of visualization. Tesla: I might have to thank visualization for all that I have invented. The events in my life and my inventions are real in front of my eyes, visible as each occurrence or the item. In my youth, I was frightened of not knowing what it is, but later I learned to use this power as an exceptional talent and gift. I nurtured it and jealously guarded. I also made corrections by visualization on most of my inventions and finished them that way. By visualization, I mentally solve complex mathematical equations. For that gift I have, I receive high-rank Lama in Tibet. My eyesight and hearing are perfect, and dare to say stronger than other people. I hear the thunder of 150 miles away, and I see colors in the sky that others cannot see. This enlargement of vision and hearing I had as a child. Later I consciously developed. Journalist. In youth, you have several times been seriously ill. Is it a disease and a requirement to adapt? Tesla. Yes. It is often the result of lack of exhaustion or vital force, and often the purification of mind and body from toxins that have accumulated. It is necessary that man suffers from time to time. The source of most disease is in the spirit. Therefore, the spirit can cure most of the diseases. As a student, I got sick of cholera, which raged in the region of Lite. I was cured because my father finally allowed me to study technology, which was my life. Illusion for me was not a disease, but the mind's ability to penetrate beyond the 3 dimensions of Earth. I had them all my life, and have received them as all other phenomena around us. Once in childhood, I was walking along the river with my uncle and said, "From the water will appear the trout. I'll throw a stone and it is cut." That's what happened. Frightened and amazed, his uncle cried. He was educated and spoke in Latin. I was in Paris when I saw my mother's death. In the sky, full of delight and music, floated our wonderful creatures. One of them had a mother's character, who was looking at me with infinite love. As the vision disappeared, I knew that my mother died. Journalist. What is the 7th adjustment, Mr. Tesla? Tesla. The knowledge of how the mental and vital energy transform into what we want and achieve control over all feelings. Hindus call it Kundalini Yoga. This knowledge can be learned. For what they need many years or is acquired by birth. The most of them are required by birth. They are in the closest connection with a sexual energy that is after the most widespread in the universe. The woman is the biggest thief of that energy, and thus the spiritual power. I've always knew that and was alerted. Of myself, I created what I wanted. A thoughtful and spiritual machine. Journalist. And the 9th adjustment, Mr. Tesla? Tesla. Do everything that any day, any moment, if possible. Not to forget who we are and why we are here on Earth. Extraordinary people who are struggling with illness, privation, or the society which hurts them with its stupidity, misunderstanding, persecution, and other problems which the country is full of swamps with insects, leaves behind unclaimed until the end of the work. There are many fallen angels on earth. Journalist. What is the 10th adaptation? Tesla. It is most important. Write that Mr. Tesla played. He played the whole of his life and enjoyed it. Journalist. Mr. Tesla. Whether it relates to your findings and your work? Is this a game? Tesla. Yes, dear boy. I have so loved to play with electricity. I also cringe when I hear about the one, also the Greek, who stole fire. A terrible story about stubbing an eagle's peck at his liver. Did Zeus not have enough lightning and thunder, and was damaged for one favor? There is some misunderstanding. Lightning are the most beautiful toys that can be found. Do not forget that in your text stand out, Nikola Tesla was the first man who discovered lightning. Journalist. Mr. Tesla. You're just talking about angels and their adaptation to this earth. Tesla. Am I? This is the same. You could write this. He dared to take upon himself the prerogatives of Indri, Zeus, and Peiron. Imagine one of these gods in a black evening suit, with the bowler hat, and wearing white cotton gloves. Prepares lightning, fires, and earthquakes to the New York City elite. Journalist. Readers love the humor of our paper, but you confuse me stating that your findings, which have immense benefits for the people, representing the game, many will frown on it. Tesla. Dear Mr. Smith, the trouble is that people are too serious. If they were not, they would be happier and much longer would have lived. Chinese proverb says that the seriousness reduces life. Let's get back to things which they consider important. Journalist. They would love to hear what your philosophy is. Tesla. Life is a rhythm that must be comprehended. I feel the rhythm and direct on it and pamper in it. It was very grateful and gave me the knowledge I have. Everything that lives is related to a deep and wonderful relationship. Man and the stars, Omebus and the sun, the heart and circulation of an infinite number of words. These ties are unbreakable, but they can be tamed and perpetuate and begin to create new and different relationships in the world, and that does not violate the old. Knowledge comes from space. Our vision is its most perfect set. We have two eyes, the earthly and spiritual. It is recommended that it became one eye. Universe is alive in all its manifestations, like a thinking animal. Stone is a thinking sentient being, such as a plant, beast, and a man. A star that shines asks to look at. And if we were not sizable, self-absorbed, we would understand its language and message. His breathing, his eyes, and ears of the man must comply with breathing, eyes, and ears of the universe. Journalist. As you say this, it seems to me I hear Buddhist texts. Words or Taoist, Perizult Usa. Tesla. That's right. This means that there is a general knowledge and truth that man has always possessed. In my feeling and experience, the universe has only one substance and one supreme energy with an infinite number of manifestations of life. The best thing is that the discovery of a secret nature reveals the other.